and a happy Easter. It's Good Friday, so a day off work and an opportunity to do another quick video. I thought I'd have a quick look at how I use magnets in with my wargaming figures. So I get my magnets from eBay, Neodymium magnets. They're available quite freely in all sorts of different sizes, and they're not too expensive, so I just ordered different sizes off eBay, and these are them. So this is the sort of medium size. I don't know what that is, about 6mm, something like that. Slightly bigger ones, and then some tiny ones. So I think these are about 2mm. I don't know if you can see those. So how do I use them? Mainly for turrets. So I will drill out a little hole in the turret seating, stick a magnet in with epoxy resin, and likewise put one in the middle, and then the turret is fixed to the tank, doesn't get knocked off and being transported, and can move around the table, and you can remove it and replace it with a bit of fire damage marker when it gets destroyed. So these are my latest models from Blitzkrieg Miniatures. Just got them a week or so ago, and similarly there's the magnets in there. I don't know if I've got, yeah, I have. I use a little Dremmel tool, and this I don't know, it's a grinder, I suppose, to make the holes for the magnets. These come in different sizes, so I just use an appropriate sized one and drill into the plastic or the resin with it, and then put a magnet in there. The problem you have is going in too deep. Sometimes if I do that I have to use two magnets just to get the level right, but if you're careful you can just gauge it to a magnet's depth. So here I'm using the tiny magnets, and I've drilled into the guy's butts and put one of those tiny magnets in there, and then similarly on the seat, if you can see that, and then the crews are removable. The magnets are quite powerful, so there's no issues with them falling out when you're transporting them. This is one I did yesterday. It's my Stug 3 with Zimmerits from Blitzkrieg, and I don't necessarily always want to have the skirts, the Schürzen. So I thought I could perhaps use a couple of magnets, and what I've done is drill out the wheel hub. So you see the middle one there is still intact, and the other ones have been drilled out and replaced with a magnet. And then the skirts just stick on. Whoops! Just stick on there. They're not perfectly vertical, but I can live with that. And the only issue you have with it is where you place the magnet. So if you can see there, what I actually did was I put a bit of blue tack into the holes that I drilled, and then sort of painted the blue tack with a bit of felt tip marker, and then I placed the skirts in roughly the right place, pressed it in, and then when I removed it I had 2 ink marks on the skirts, and that's where I stuck the magnets. So that's that. I also use them for figures. So here's one I'm in the process of doing, which is Fallschirmjäger mortar team. Let's just go with the mortar because that's not stuck. And then I drill a little hole in the bottom, put a magnet into the base, so that they will stay in place. And then I'll model this with a bit of a filler and paint it up, so that if when the crews get killed, I can just remove a figure, and then when I'm transporting them, they'll stay there in the box. And talking of transporting, so I base my figures, and I put a washer on the bottom with a bit of hard as nails glue. This one I put in obviously after I painted it up, but usually I'll put them on before they're painted, do the base, and then I'll spray the whole thing, so the whole thing is grey, similar to these guys that I did this week. So the washer is stuck on and forms part of the painted figure as it gets painted up. And then I buy magnetic strips, again off eBay. These come in A4 sheets, just magnetic strips, and I put these in the boxes that the troops go in. So I'll have a whole set of strips in the box. I use computer motherboard boxes because they're quite big and sturdy, and then for transportation purposes I'll put the figures in the box. They're not as powerful as the Neodymium magnets, but they will keep them safe when they're being transported, provided you don't sort of turn the boxes upside down, although it probably will go upside down. But if you shake it or move it, they will fall off. They're not as powerful as the magnets, but they're good enough for transporting and keeping them out of the way in their boxes when they're not being used. So that's just a quick overview of how I'm using magnets. I'm toying with the idea of using them in some scenery as well. So here's 2 sections of road that I'm working on, and I'm toying in the idea of putting magnets in the end there of the foam, so that they don't get knocked when they're on the table. Otherwise they're a little bit loose and they tend to sort of move apart a bit. But the key is to getting the magnets exactly opposite each other, because if they're out slightly then you'll get a little bit of this going on. So I'm still experimenting with that, but that might be my next use of magnets. So that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching.